When people say something's impossible, everything's been done, that just means everything's not been done. They just don't know.
They say if we build it, they will come. It's nice to have the ability to start small and to grow as the demand requires. Now we're able to build in a way that allows us to scale if what we've built is popular.
We are moving into AI-driven era where AI takes care of higher order activities.
Today's tools are allowing people to execute if they have the grit and determination.
People build what they can imagine.
Please welcome to the stage Managing Director Germany and Europe Central, AWS, Stefan Höchbauer.
Guten Morgen. Moin. Welcome to Hamburg. Look around you. You are in a city that's bringing together traders and innovators for centuries. And today, we will continue that tradition right here at AWS Summit 2025. But first, let me address what's top of mind for many of you. How can German businesses continue to innovate while maintaining digital sovereignty? Now, here's the good news. German businesses aren't just talking about digital transformation, they are leading it. Today, 36% of businesses in Germany already using AI, with 92% of them seeing increased efficiencies. So German industry leaders are setting global standards for responsible AI innovation. Let me share two examples with you. Take Siemens, who transformed their global search experience by using Amazon Nova and Amazon Bedrock, achieving a 1.5 times better latency and a 4.4 times better cost efficiency. Very impressive. BMW. At BMW, enterprise-wide AI transformation is happening, leveraging generative AI across its entire value chain. A key enabler in the BMW group is the AI assistant, built on AWS, leveraging agentic AI capability to empower employees creating AI applications for their daily work. To date, the platform features approximately 130 public apps and over 8,000 private apps, supporting over 50,000 employees. These aren't just isolated success stories. Siemens and BMW represent a broader trend we are seeing across Germany. Organizations choose AWS not just for innovation, but because we understand that security and sovereignty are non-negotiables. Gartner's latest report says that global cloud solutions offered with additional sovereignty measures can be an optimal solution for many organizations. And tens of thousands of big German brands agree. Think about the organizations that handle your most sensitive data, your bank, your healthcare provider, or any public institution. These are the kinds of organizations that trust AWS with their most critical workloads. These examples demonstrate how AWS enables innovation while maintaining security. Now, we understand that in today's rapidly changing world, business resilience is a critical factor. While the geopolitical landscape shifts daily, one thing remains constant: our commitment to German customers. And we are backing this commitment with significant long-term investments in permanent infrastructure. Take our AWS Frankfurt region, known to many of you as the EU Central One. We have invested more than 9.6 billion euros here already, and we are accelerating. We are in the process of investing another 8.8 billion euros between 2024 and 2026. These investments have real impact, contributing over 18 billion to Germany's GDP. And we are not stopping there. Our conversations with customers led to our next major investment in Germany. Last year, we announced plans to launch the AWS European Sovereign Cloud in Brandenburg, which will go live end of this year. This new cloud is designed to meet the strictest data sovereignty requirements. It gives European customers additional choice in how they meet their data residency, operational autonomy, and resiliency needs. Let me share what it means in practice. We are establishing a dedicated entity for the European Sovereign Cloud. It will be led by EU leadership residing in the EU, with a governance framework ensuring complete operational independence. All infrastructure will be entirely located within the EU, completely independent from global AWS systems. So what does the European Sovereign Cloud mean for our existing regions in Europe? Here's the key thing to remember. Our current regions, including Frankfurt, are designed with sovereignty and security at their core. In every single AWS region, customers have full control over the storage, transfer, and encryption of their data. Nobody, not even AWS employees, can access customer data without explicit permission. And we are honored to be named as a leader in sovereign cloud infrastructure services by ISG for the second year in a row. AWS was rated ahead of other leading cloud providers with the highest score on portfolio attractiveness. And here's something we learned over the years. Building trust isn't just about having great technology. It's about working hand in hand with the institutions that protect Germany's digital future. That's why we are particularly proud of our recent collaboration agreement with the German Bundesamt für Sicherheit in der Informationstechnik that will further advance cloud security and sovereignty standards. While we partner with government institutions on standards and regulations, our partners demonstrate how digital sovereignty works in practice. And together, we are advancing digital sovereignty across Europe. And because innovation comes from diverse perspectives, we are particularly proud of our Women of the Cloud area at this summit. Go visit them in level 1 of the Caroline building. Just follow the signs in the expo in hall A1. As I said in the beginning, we are with you on this journey, and we are looking forward to connecting with you today. Before you dive in, I want to thank our sponsors who made this summit possible. Thank you for the partnership. And now, take us deeper into how AWS is building for Germany's digital future. Please welcome on stage Kevin Miller, Vice President, Global Data Centers at AWS. Kevin.
Well, thank you, Stefan. It is so great to be back here in Germany. This is actually my third time in Germany in just the last year, and I always feel at home here. Now, that could be in part because I'm actually half German by heritage, or it could also be because I really like German beer gardens. Last summer, actually, in between visits to beer gardens, I had a chance to visit the BMW Museum in Munich. And one thing that really struck me looking at the museum is just how creative and how imaginative folks at BMW have been over the years. They've always been pushing for what's next. And so that really leads me to the question that I want to start today with, which is, what if you could build anything you can imagine? To me, one of the best parts of being a builder is that you get to imagine things that just seem impossible, and then you go build them. You make them real. And at AWS, it is our mission to give you the building blocks to build just about anything you can possibly imagine. And so we've seen over the years, customers have built some remarkable things using these building blocks. And they're reimagining entire industries, whether it's retail and supply chain and logistics, or transforming finance, or elevating fandoms. And even things like helping blind people see. Inventions that are made possible because of these building blocks that we build. It's fundamental to how we build services, because we want to build a service that does one job really well, and then make it really easy for you to combine those services together and build your applications, build whatever you dream. And some things that you are doing are so fundamental, they have to be built in from day one as incredibly important things that you do. For us, day one always is security. And security for us is at every layer of the stack, starting at the very base layer of the silicon, and then going all the way up. And that's why, as Stefan said, that ensures that no one, not even the data center operators in our data centers, are able to access the data that you store in AWS. Now, once you have that very strong, secure foundation, then you start focusing on how do I scale? And that starts with the AWS Global Backbone. We have the largest private network, more than 6 million kilometers of fiber optic cabling connecting all of our regions across the world in one highly connected backbone. And in fact, we are just constantly adding capacity to this backbone. Since I was in Germany last year, we have added 80% more backbone capacity. So now we're going to move up the stack, moving into our first building block, which is all about compute. And today, using AWS, you can get as much compute as you need, with a wide variety of computing options, such as virtual servers, containers, as well as functions, to really let you run any workload that you want to run. EC2 today has more than 850 different instance types, giving you unique combinations of CPU and memory to run any kind of workload that you're looking to run. So even workloads that at one point, not too long ago, might have been considered impossible to run in the cloud are now really possible. And that includes applications that need extraordinary computing power, like scientific modeling, video transcoding, and machine learning. Or think about mission-critical enterprise workloads, supporting the most important databases, large memory databases that run key business applications. Or now, with the rise of generative AI, the use of accelerated computing instances for training and inference has just exploded over the last few years. And AWS is really the best place to run these GPU workloads. We have a partnership going back 14 years with NVIDIA, and we continue innovating every year, adding new NVIDIA-based instances to power your workloads. And that includes the P6 family of instances that feature the NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs with the GB200 superchips. These are going to be available very soon. And we've seen builders need more flexibility in how they access GPU capacity. And so that's what led us to create EC2 capacity blocks, to give you instant, predictable access to GPUs that we all know are in high demand. And it's perfect for those shorter-term kind of workloads or fine-tuning that you often need to use GPUs with. But often, innovation is, in fact, not often, rarely is innovation a straight line. And there's a lot of considerations about how you continue to scale and evolve. And in fact, that was one of the challenges that Canva faced. So let's take a quick look.
Innovation is always about solving problems and helping people to achieve their goals more quickly than ever before. Our goal at Canva was to always enable people to take their idea and turn it into a design and have no friction between those 2 points. So you can now create a beautiful whiteboard. You can create an incredible presentation, all with a click, with the power of AI. Today, we have more than 220 million people using Canva each month, and our goal is to get to 1 billion people each month.
Scaling generative AI products to 1 billion users means that we have to be global. We have to be in all of the available data centers around the world and ensure that the right capacity and the right GPU instance types are available. And that's where AWS really comes to the table, working with us to scale as we need it. We can't empower the world to design if our platform and our tool isn't reliable. Using AWS ensures that we've got all of the right baseline capabilities available that are secure, reliable, available when we need it, and that just increases trust with our customers.
Being able to rapidly ship product to the whole world and deploy it is an extraordinarily important part of our success. So it's been amazing to partner with AWS on that incredible journey.
We're just 1% of the way there. Canva is just getting started, and we cannot wait for you to see what we have coming up next.
It is really customers like Canva that drive enormous scale and push us to make compute faster, more sustainable, and lower cost. And these are the kinds of improvements that give you the ability to build anything. Another area that we've really been focused over many years in doing this is Graviton. Now, Graviton was our first custom CPU, and today we are now on our 4th generation of this CPU, and it's really our most powerful chip yet. It is 45% faster than the prior generation, which is not that old, actually. And with 60% less energy consumption for the same price performance than comparable instances, Graviton is really a key capability for a lot of customers in scaling their compute workloads. In fact, all of that performance and sustainability of Graviton is why, over the last 2 years, we have landed more Graviton-based CPUs in our data centers than any other CPU type. And creating Graviton has given us a lot of momentum to tackle even bigger challenges. In fact, that's what led us to build our own AI-based chips, creating the Inferentia and Trainium chips. And each of our chips that we create really focuses on the same principles. We want to increase the performance, improve sustainability, and reduce cost. Today, Trainium 2-based instances offer the best price performance for generative AI and deep learning on AWS. They're up to 4 times faster and 3 times more energy efficient compared to the prior generation Trainium 1 instances, and that is a breakthrough that's really transforming the economics of AI. Some of the world's largest foundation model providers are using Trainium 2 to dramatically cut their training costs. Like Anthropic. Millions of people, and I'm sure many of you in the room, rely on Anthropic's Claude model for your daily work. And together, AWS and Anthropic are really aiming to advance the future of generative AI. For builders that use Claude, it means more intelligence, lower prices, and faster speeds. Now, bringing big ideas to life requires that you assemble multiple building blocks and bring them together. And that moves us to our next building block, which is storage. Now, back in the early days of Amazon, when teams needed to have some storage, they often would try to cobble it together themselves. And so we found that it was very duplicative. A lot of projects would kind of go through the same motion of spending months or years building, configuring, and then having to manage storage. And so we aimed to create something where the average team didn't have to do that every time, that there was a service that they could utilize. And we realized that actually a lot of external customers would really like that service too. And that's what came to build S3. Today, S3 stores more than 400 trillion objects, which is really underpinning all of the other AWS services. And of course, even though S3 was launched a long time ago, and in fact, I believe it's old enough to now drive, it's really continued to evolve. because we've continuously shaped S3 to follow all the trends of what customers are trying to do with their data. And as an example, let's look at the rapid adoption of open table formats like Apache's Iceberg. Now, using Iceberg, it's an open source and high performance table format that's really great for large analytical databases. A lot of the data that Iceberg supports is stored in a Parquet format. And today in S3, there are literally exabytes of data that is stored in Parquet format. Now, to effectively work and analyze all this data, Iceberg then creates a series of metadata. And under the hood, all of this metadata is used to manage the various data snapshots and table updates to make it very easy for applications to then access all the right data to answer the queries. But the challenge with S3 is that it requires a lot of the challenge with Iceberg, rather, is that it can require a lot of manual effort to really optimize the tables, to allow the analytics applications to operate very effectively over the data. And that overhead can actually increase and slow you down as you scale. And so we looked at this and said, we can help. This is a great opportunity for us to make it a little bit simpler. And so we recently launched a new bucket type to hold S3 tables that support Iceberg format, enabling you to quickly manage and query data in S3 without the overhead of having to manage Iceberg. And then we paired that up with a new feature called S3 metadata to automatically generate all of the system metadata, including things like the object size, the storage class, and the encryption status, to make it very easy to look at all of the objects that you have in your S3 bucket. And then we also added the ability to add custom tags so that it's even easier to find the right data that you're looking to query. And all of this is coming together to make it even easier to create new workloads and data products that you can use across your business. And in the end, most of your users aren't looking to have access just to the raw data. They're looking to have that layer above it, where they can figure out how to access, or very easily figure out where to go and how to access the data that they need to do their job. And so they're looking for a curated data product that they can use to solve their specific use case. And oftentimes when you're talking about that, you move right into the world of databases, our next building block. Now today in AWS, we have databases, many databases, so many, that you can address any kind of workload or use case that you're looking to solve. And we know that having that breadth of a selection is really powerful in letting you have the right database for the right job. But it also means that your data can sometimes become siloed. And sometimes you need to be able to do updates across multiple data stores. And you want to be able to do those updates in a way where you know that there's a specific ordering of the updates that's being done across your different data stores. And so what's the simplest way that we can think of to establish a clear ordering of actions across multiple stores? The answer is time. But if you need to use the timestamp, you need to have highly accurate time to know that you can properly sequence the updates across data stores. And that means that you need to have clocks that are in perfect synchronization, no matter where you are in the world. And that's what led us to launch the AWS TimeSync service. Because we control all of the infrastructure that AWS runs on, we could build this into the infrastructure to deliver microsecond accuracy to instances. And then we looked at databases, and we said, this is a really powerful capability, and it can actually unlock something even more. So now we have multi-region strong consistency with low latency across databases, whether you're working with SQL or NoSQL. And these capabilities provide virtually unlimited scale across regions with zero infrastructure management and a fully serverless design. So this means you can now have multi-region, active capabilities in your databases in a way that is effortless for you to build and operate. I mean, this blows me away. It's a great example of how AWS innovates at such a low level. Just a year ago, building a system like this could have been extremely challenging, a lot of technical hurdles to overcome, and very costly. And today, it's a matter of a few clicks. Many businesses need to operate around the globe, and having capabilities like this is just really essential. One example of a business that understands global operations better than most is Hapag-Lloyd. And so I'd love to invite Danya Florence Amir, the CIO and CHRO, to tell you a little bit more.
Good morning. It's always hard to speak after Kevin. You are such a good speaker. But I'm glad to be here in Hamburg, which is a little bit like my hometown today. And anybody had a good cup of coffee already this morning? OK, some of you at least, because today I would like to bring you on a journey around coffee and what do global trade, million points of data, and a beautiful cup of Neumann coffee have in common. Hapag-Lloyd is one of the leading global shipping companies. And we are connecting the world across the ocean since 1847. That means we have already more than 175 years of experience. And yes, shipping coffee is one of our passions. We operate more than 300 modern sustainable vessels. And maybe one of you have seen them on our River Elbe. And on the 300 vessels, we are moving more than 12 million TEUs every year. And if you ask yourself, 12 million TEUs, what does that mean? Well, you can wrap the boxes around the Earth almost 3 times. And 17,000 people are part of our Orange family. And we are located in 114 countries all over the globe. But we are all driven by one big mission: to become the undisputed #1 for quality. So what does that all mean for our cup of Neumann coffee? Today, coffee is no longer a commodity. It's a premium product, and at Hapag-Lloyd, we treat it like this. Neumann Coffee is a coffee trader for raw coffee, and they are partnering with us in moving their cargo. So our coffee journey I would like to bring you in today starts in Latin America, and here, coffee beans are packed into our beautiful orange boxes and start their journey across the oceans. But moving cargo with speed and sustainable and hopefully in time, that's not an easy one. To meet the demands of a digital world, we had to rethink our entire journey, every process, every system, everything end to end. So let me bring you on that journey. But before, we started our journey on a digital side on a beautiful old mainframe. And some of you might know I have a long history in IBM. And as a former IBM, I have to admit, yes, I still love that mainframe. But the transformation called for a revolution. And our goal is really to fully digitalize the global supply chain and create a data-driven logistic chain. AWS and our teams were able to unlock, with agility and speed, to modernize our entire supply chain into the new world. So now let's dive a little bit into our coffee journey and start where the magic begins, on the farms in the highlands of Mexico. In the good old days, if you wanted to book a container, it was really a nightmare. You had endless forms, you had millions of old systems, and errors all over. So one was clear for us: this experience had to go. We thought about to restructure the entire booking process around our clients and create a much nicer customer experience. And we came up with a 4-step approach. So step number 1, you have to search your route. Step number 2 is you are selecting your voyage. Then hopefully you customize your booking with value-added services, for example, and then your checkout. But don't forget to pay. So booking in our new world is quick, it's easy, it's simple, and it's intuitive. AWS, well, they accelerated our journey because today booking a container is, for many of you who might have used it, as easy as booking a flight. That's why we call it, surprisingly, airline-like booking. Okay, we are maybe not so creative in names, But our customers, and that is more important than the name itself, they love our new booking experience because it's fast, it's flexible, and it's intuitive. And for Hapag-Lloyd, because everything is connected, we face significant less disputes, and we have more fun because we have a chance for a data-driven upselling. It's more or less a win-win-win for all of us. So now, imagine, we booked our container, our coffee beans are in, so let's continue the journey, and let's start and hit the road. But we have vessels, so we are hitting the water. Some of you hopefully might remember, in the good old days, there was an offline navigation map called Falk. It was a paper, you had to unfold it like this, it was a nightmare. Today, routing is smart. It has a brain, and it adapts in real time to weather changes, port congestions, or even for geopolitical surprises, and we face many of them these days. Powered by AWS, our shipment today is always one step up, and it keeps us on track and in time. And the result for us as a container shipping liner, which would like to become the undisputed #1 for quality, we are facing less idle time, lower cost, and for sure also more reliable routes. So routing in today's world, comparing to our old nice Falk paper map, routing has a brain. But we wanted to go beyond. That's why we used predictive AI, which lights us the way. And today we deliver in real time the estimated time of arrival. And when you have seen such a massive container vessel, to arrive in time is quite important for us. Also, we have so many uncertainties along the way while crossing the oceans. A predictive AI-enabled AI for us is super element to become the undisputed #1 for quality. Okay, now let's go further. We are letting now guesswork a little bit behind because we booked our container, we have our route, and we have a good prediction already. Now let's focus on what's next. Our coffee box is almost home. Here in the port of Hamburg, every second day you can see one of the big ones. And our coffee beans, they came from customs to warehouse to the doorstep, and every single step was a beautiful, nice, moderated and orchestrated digital journey. For me, sometimes it feels, when I look how we treat coffee and each and every coffee bean, they are sorted, steered, and used tons of technology to bring them home, is significantly more, I have to say, than it took once to land Neil Armstrong on the moon. So coffee beans today are smart. Our box is back in Hamburg. We booked them, we predicted it, and now it's home. But our customers asked even for more. And we came up with a product to support them to get the entire visibility of their journey. Where is my box? Some of you might know it when Amazon, for example, is sending you a parcel. For boxes, this was a new thing. And we were able to create an endless, seamless integrated journey for our boxes all around a new product, and we call it Hapag-Lloyd Live. Hapag-Lloyd Live is something like a command center at your fingertips, and we are enabling our clients to get full visibility about their entire booking journey. So we are offering real-time data anytime and anywhere. And as each of our containers is generating millions of data, with AWS, we are able to scale easily and to handle our complexity and everything around 24/7 in an infrastructure that is perfectly supported. We are constantly optimizing our systems and upgrading our digital journey. And now, as our coffee box has been quite on a journey, each of our beans traveled more than 7,000 kilometers already. And it passed hundreds of digital checkpoints. For us as Hapag-Lloyd, it's utmost important that we have the control about our cargo and our customers. They love the new face of global trade, which we created together with AWS, but also with our amazing teams, and some of them are here today, so thank you to you as well. And I hope next time you see one of our vessels on the ocean, you will enjoy watching them, but even further, I seriously hope you will enjoy your next cup of coffee even more, knowing where it came from. With this, thank you very much. I hope you will enjoy the booth, and Kevin, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Danya. You've given me a lot more to think about every morning when I have a cup of coffee, so that's great. You know, speaking of some incredible journeys that have been taken, generative AI has been something that has been transformative over the last few years. It's evolved from simple image and text generation to models that are now thinking and reasoning. And just like compute and storage inference has evolved, so too are we evolving the services in AWS. We built Amazon Bedrock as the easiest way to build and scale your generative AI applications on AWS. And we continue to expand the availability of Bedrock around the world so that customers everywhere are able to access all of this amazing capability. And as customers are building generative AI applications that work well today and well into the future, we're thinking about a lot of different things that we're delivering as features. One of the key capabilities of Bedrock is model choice. In the world of foundation models, it is moving so fast. New models are coming out that are more capable, more cost-effective, and faster, and they're coming every week. And we know that there's no one model that's best for every generative AI use case. And that's why within Bedrock, we're offering a broad choice of fully managed foundation models that cover a range of use cases, helping you pick the best model for the job that you have to solve. And that includes Amazon Nova, which is now our own family of foundation models designed to offer leading options across quality, speed, and cost. Today, there's actually 7 different Nova models spanning the understanding and reasoning, image and video generation, as well as speech-to-speech synthesis. And this choice really gives you the ability to pick the model that's best for your workload. Now, once you've chosen a model, you need the ability to customize the model, to incorporate your own data as one of the most important steps to get a lot of the value out of AI. And a lot of customers, as we just saw, use retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. But a challenge that a lot of developers have encountered when building their generative AI applications is that RAG was originally designed and optimized for unstructured data. And so now today, Bedrock supports fully managed end-to-end retrieval augmented generation across many different data types, making it easy to have the most relevant, accurate, and explainable responses to your users. A great example of a customer doing this is Trellix. Now, they're in the cybersecurity business, and using Amazon Nova on Bedrock, they've been able to automate a lot of threat investigations. And so they store billions of security events in Amazon OpenSearch. And that allows them to create a knowledge base that combines the power of Nova with their proprietary investigation data and techniques. And Nova analyzes threats now for them with the same contextual understanding as their human experts, reducing costs by 65%. Now, trust and security are paramount to any generative AI application. And Bedrock Guardrails helps you block harmful or unwanted inputs and outputs for your generative AI applications. And so, for example, if you build an application to process insurance claims, you can use Bedrock's Guardrails to block certain outputs from the app, such as certain topics or words or other harmful content, and make sure that the response is really aligned with the brand and the values of your organization. But now we're even expanding Guardrails to do even more. And it's really helping us address the world of AI hallucinations, which is one of the things that enterprises and a lot of customers are looking at and trying to address. And in AWS, we found that using automated reasoning techniques, which are some very advanced techniques, can be used to drive down the uncertainty in AI-generated responses. And so now with Amazon Bedrock's Guardrails automated reasoning checks, it is the first and only safeguard that can help prevent factual errors due to hallucinations. This is some really interesting innovation using these advanced automated reasoning techniques. Now, moving on, I want to talk a little bit about affordability and cost. And we know that inference costs today can still be quite high. And within Bedrock, there are multiple ways that you can reduce your costs without compromising on performance. The first is to use a technique known as model distillation. Now, model distillation takes the output of a high parameter model to then train a low parameter model. It's kind of like the idea of a teacher training a student from their knowledge. Distilled models in Amazon Bedrock are up to 500% faster at up to 75% less cost than using the larger models. Bedrock also has a feature called intelligent prompt routing. And this is where you can actually designate multiple models for your application. And Bedrock will determine which model is best to serve a particular request. Now, using this technique can actually help reduce your cost by up to 30% without compromising on the accuracy of your responses. Now, finally, let's talk about utility. We, of course, think AI should make things as simple as possible. And what we're seeing right now in the world of AI agents is a really cool technique and advancement in this space. In the early days of generative AI, of course, the most common pattern is that you send a prompt and you get an answer. And then over time, it's become very conversational. But now we're seeing increased use of AI agents. They don't just respond, of course, they take action. They respond like a person would in many cases. They develop a plan, they pick a set of tools, they generate results, and then they look at everything they've done and iterate on it and try to improve it. And so let me show you how it works in practice. So here we're going to have an example of modifying an application that we've built and creating an endpoint that calls Claude Sonnet in Bedrock to analyze a transcript. And here we're going to see how the agents are rationalizing the problem and autonomously taking steps to then develop a new set of code in this application. And as it writes the code, we can then review it, watch what it's doing, and then if it's happy, we can click Accept and merge it into our application. Awesome. Speaking of transformative AI applications, one of Europe's largest sports organizations is using a lot of these ideas and technologies to revolutionize how millions of fans experience football. And by that I mean European football, not American football. To share how the Bundesliga is using AWS to turn match data into some compelling stories and create personalized content at scale, please welcome Dr. Stefan Merkel, CEO of DFL Digital Sports at the German Football League.
Lights on.
Good morning. It is my pleasure today to be here in Hamburg. I am excited to show you how, together with AWS, we are transforming the way Bundesliga fans around the world experience every heartbeat of the game. 2 leagues across Bundesliga and Bundesliga 2, 36 clubs, more than 1,000 players, 21 million tickets sold per season, number 2 in terms of average attendance behind the NFL. 612 games per season, 3.2 goals per match, which makes us the most goals of all European top football leagues. More than 1 billion devoted Bundesliga enthusiasts around the globe with broadcasts in more than 200 territories. This is the Bundesliga. This is, as we call it, football as it's meant to be. And this uniqueness helps us. While many other leagues face significant economic challenges due to a changing media landscape and different consumer habits, the Bundesliga stands strong and has recently even managed to increase revenues from its national media rights tender for the upcoming media cycle. But this isn't just the league's story. It is a story of collaboration between the Deutsche Fußballliga, the clubs, and our partners. Because we are a 350-person organization and we rely on strong partners like AWS to innovate and grow. AWS has been a cornerstone of this journey for now over 5 years, helping us to build some of the greatest innovations in global sports, or with a fan-centric approach. With the power of AWS, we are reimagining every moment of the fan journey, before, during, and after the match, creating deeper, more personal connections than ever before. Today, I will share 2 examples of that collaboration that are already making an impact: match facts and Bundesliga stories. First, with match facts, we are turning data into insights for fans, commentators, broadcasters, and partners. In every Bundesliga stadium, there are right now 16 to 20 specialized cameras installed, not for broadcast, but purely for data collection. They track every player and the ball 25 times per second, generating a total of 3.6 million data points per match. This data flows into the Bundesliga Data Hub and is processed in near real time with AWS serverless architecture. Within just 1 second, a new Bundesliga match fact is live, on broadcast, and in the app. But for us, these aren't just numbers. They tell deeper stories, like player speed, expected goals, or goal probability. Imagine Harry Kane scores, and the chance of that goal was just 2%. That is not just a stat. It's a testament to the fact that this moment is truly unforgettable. And it also allows us to tell stories like the most unlikely goals of the 2024-25 season. So, Bundesliga match facts turn data into real stories. And more than 90% of our fans say it improves their viewing experience. The second example I would like to show you is Bundesliga stories. Because it is not just about watching the match anymore, it's about how stories are told, shared, and experienced. Because we see that media consumption has changed dramatically. Many Bundesliga fans, especially in younger audiences, expect a different content experience. They want fast, visual, mobile-first, and personalized content. At the DFL, we produce about 4,000 articles each season, full of insights and analysis. But the question became, how do we scale that level of content production without adding resources? That's where generative AI came in. Last October, we launched Bundesliga Stories, our first fan-facing Gen AI product powered by AWS. This innovative solution takes our in-depth articles and transforms them into engaging, swipeable stories that fans can easily consume in the Bundesliga app. And our fans, they love it. Since last October, we are producing around 400 Bundesliga stories per month for the Bundesliga app. App time per viewer has doubled. 50% increase in content production efficiency. 67% viewer efficiency and retention. It is not just about automation, it's a new way of engaging at scale for us at the Bundesliga. New technologies offer many opportunities, but they also involve risks. And it is about applying artificial intelligence in an effective, but also responsible way. At the DFL, we believe in the power of technology supporting, not replacing the human. And with AWS, we have the right partner to deliver on this promise. Let me add one more thing. The Bundesliga and Bundesliga 2 stand for an authentic experience. People come to the stadium and engage with our media partners because they want to experience genuine emotions and support athletes who are true role models. Our media product on all platforms offers a Bundesliga experience for all generations. For those who focus entirely on football for 90 minutes, as well as for tech-savvy youngsters who consume media completely differently. But don't get me wrong. We welcome and we embrace progress. We are ready to continue leading the way, as a global driver of sports innovation, we will certainly develop sports analysis and produce creative content using new technologies wherever helpful and appropriate. And as you could see in the last few minutes, we're just getting started. I'm looking forward to the next chapters in which our great partnership with AWS will play a pivotal role. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Dr. Merkel. It is so inspiring to see how Bundesliga is using AI to transform the fan experience and bring football closer to the audience. I mean, I love seeing those cool stats. Now, like I said earlier, we make building blocks that do one thing really, really well. But when, as you're building an application, do you ever just need one thing? No, it's pretty rare, obviously. And we want to make it easy for you to get started doing everything really well. And so we've started to create streamlined and unified experiences where all of these building blocks come together so that you can work quickly and easily. And that was really our goal when we launched the next generation of Amazon SageMaker. SageMaker Unified Studio combines our best analytics services with also the widely adopted SageMaker service for machine learning. The work that once required you to move between multiple tools and interfaces can now be done in a single unified studio in SageMaker. And what makes this new version so powerful is that it's built on a lakehouse architecture where all of your data can then be easily accessed with all the right controls and end-to-end governance built in so that your teams can collaborate and share data, share models, and the GenAI assets across their projects. But to take advantage of SageMaker and the AWS building blocks, of course, you need to be in the cloud. Your data needs to be in the cloud. And migrating to the cloud can unlock huge value. But of course, it's not easy. Oftentimes, you have decades-old applications that have to be modernized. And this is another place that we're turning to AI for some powerful help. In AWS, we have over 19 years of experience helping customers migrate. And we've seen just about anything and everything that you can imagine along that journey. And we've taken that 19 years of lessons learned and integrated it into an AI capability that customers are now using to make modernization more easy. So one specific example of this is modernizing a .NET application and migrating it to Linux. And here we're using AI agents to discover incompatibilities in the code, to automatically generate a transformation plan, and then begin refactoring the code on your behalf. And these code transformation agents have helped developers modernize applications up to 4 times faster and cut the cost of Windows licensing by up to 40%. Another example is VMware, where code transformation agents are able to tackle one of the hardest parts of VMware migration by automatically converting the VMware network configurations and firewall rules into standard AWS networking constructs. We have found that with agents, this work can be done up to 80 times faster. It's amazing. In fact, agents can also be used to migrate complex mainframe applications, starting first with IBM's ZOS, giving you the ability to transform a complete mainframe application in a matter of months instead of years. And as you can see, when you have the right building blocks, you can build anything you can imagine. And of course, that's why we're here today. That's why we have this summit here in Hamburg. I love my opportunity in these kinds of events to meet with you and understand what you're trying to accomplish. Because we can build tools and platforms that empower everyone in this room as innovators to push the boundaries of what's possible. All of the conversations I have with customers are chances to deep dive into technology, to share ideas, to learn what your challenges are, and to collaborate in ways that can drive real change forward. At the heart of it all, we're not just about here to create technology for technology's sake. It's really about making progress in the world, empowering the world with the things we build. And so as you continue your journey through this summit, I encourage you to connect, to share, to explore, and discover all of the services and tools, and frankly, a lot of other brilliant minds in the room that can help turn your ideas into reality. So with that, I will say thank you, I hope you enjoy the rest of the summit, and I'm glad to be able to share a few minutes with you this morning. Thank you.